Hello, this is David King of singleadultministry.uk. Welcome to our author podcast. In these podcasts, we give the opportunity to an author or speaker to share an inspirational thought of their own choice and in their own words. May you be inspired and encouraged by what you hear.
Hi, thanks for joining me again. This is Andrina from Birmingham, England, and you're listening to part 2 of Finding God in Disappointment. In part 1, we visited the story of Rachel, Leah and Jacob, but we looked at it from Rachel's perspective. We discovered that whilst Jacob was given a bad deal in this whole situation, Rachel probably had a pretty hard time too. She was due to get married to the love of her life. All the plans were made. Then her father pulls a fast one and her fiancé Jacob gets married to her sister Leah instead. The disappointment that Rachel likely felt is hard to imagine. Sometimes we face serious disappointments in life. It can hurt when God doesn't appear to be answering our prayers, or he doesn't appear to be answering them in our required time frame. It can leave us feeling angry, frustrated, sad, or even disillusioned with God and his love for us. So the question is, what do you do when you're faced with one of life's disappointments? Now, my first suggestion is to try to keep things in perspective. There was likely a reason that things didn't work out the way that you hoped. If you're honest with yourself, can you maybe understand why things didn't go the way you planned? If it was a job opportunity, would that really have been the best job for you? Sometimes, on reflection, we can see why God may have protected us from that situation. And if we got that thing that we were so desperate for, it may not have been as amazing and perfect as we expected, and it might not have fulfilled us in the way that we would have hoped. Only God knows this. Sometimes, however, things don't work out and it just doesn't seem to make sense to us. We can't understand why it happened or didn't happen, or why God would allow it to happen. At this point, we have to rest in the knowledge that God is a sovereign God and he knows what he is doing. In Isaiah 55 verses 8 and 9, God tells us that his ways are not our ways and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Sometimes we just have to say, okay, God, I don't get it, but I'm going to trust you. Or if you're anything like me, you'll say, okay, God, I don't get it, so please help me to trust you. So what else can we do when we're faced with disappointments? Now, I know this one sounds like a cliche, but it is so effective. We really need to count our blessings. Sometimes it helps to take a step back and consider and be grateful for the things that God has given us. Psalms 100 verse 4 says that we should enter his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. There is research to suggest that the more grateful you are, the greater happiness you'll have. Gratitude has even been known to improve physical health, and grateful people are said to experience fewer aches and pains. I recommend that you try to practice gratitude throughout the day. Actively seek at least one thing to be grateful for and thank God for it. Now, my last suggestion is hope and faith. Don't lose hope in what God has in store for you. If a door closes, it's because he has something better for you. God loves you more than you will ever know, and he is working things out in your favour for your good. And because of his love, he wants you to succeed, win, achieve, and overcome. Just like you would want the best for your children, he wants the best for you, and it is within his power to give it to you. It is important that you keep trusting God and having faith in him and believing that he is doing something beautiful and amazing in your life. I love the phrase that says, when it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Always look for the good that God is doing in your life. Now, when Laban tricked Jacob, both Jacob and Rachel could have said, forget it. We've waited too long for each other. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be. We'll just move on with our lives. However, there was a deeper purpose and a deeper plan for both of them, and their perseverance and faith brought them the promise. Ask God to reveal his love and plan for you, even in the midst of your disappointments. Ask him to remind you that he is working it out for your good. Speak words of life over your life, and remember that he who has begun this work in you will be faithful to complete it. Thank you so much for listening. I'd really love to hear how God has brought you through your times of disappointment. Please feel free to find me on Facebook through my Divine Introductions page. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care and God bless.